This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, a new Southern cheerleading club is aiming to take on all comers at national events later this year. Organisers of the 52nd Otago Model Vehicle Club exhibition say the hobby can attract younger members. And years of fundraising has paid off for St John in Cromwell as they open their new facility. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Daryl Baser. A fledgling Southern cheerleading club is setting its sights on nationwide competitions later this year. The Otago University Students Association Cheerleading Stunt and Tumble Club is only a few years old, but its growing membership is reaching for the stars. Bringing it on time and time again. Looking like rehearsals from a teen cheerleading movie, members of the Otago University Students Association Cheerleading Stunt and Tumble Club are propelled into the air, and the club's founder is welcoming new people.
So you just kind of come in, and if it piques your interest, then we'll take you. Some of our athletes are retired gymnasts, so they already have some of the tumbling skills, and some of them are dancers, and just whatever you come with, we just make it work.
They hold regular Monday night training sessions at Eclipse Cheerleading in King Edward Court, which are fast, fun and full of energy. Club founder and president Roberta Noon started the club in 2018 when she saw the university didn't have one.
The universities of Auckland, Victoria and Canterbury all have their own cheerleading club, and when I came down here, Otago didn't have one, so we decided we needed to fix that. And there was a lot of talent down here, it was just not being used.
The club began with about 15 members, and there are now about 25 members in a beginners team with a further 10 in an advanced squad. Last year the club took 2 teams to Auckland to participate in the Cheer Factor 2020 competition. And despite it being their first time competing, both teams scored.
And this year we're taking 2 teams again to compete in Wellington for Ministry of Cheer, and then in October we're going to Christchurch to compete in Alpine Classic, which is another cheerleading competition, so hopefully we're ready for it.
Roberta Noon says a good routine includes stunts in which people are thrown into the air, as well as acrobatic tumbling and synchronised dance moves, all of which are choreographed to up-tempo music. She says it's about 2.5 minutes of full-on cardio craziness. In Dunedin, the South Today. The peanut-shaped roundabout in Dunedin's St Clair is meeting expectations, according to the Dunedin City Council. Work started on the legume-shaped roundabout on Forbury Road almost exactly a year ago. The project was completed last month and was delayed because water mains and sewer lines needed to be upgraded. Many people have given the council positive feedback about the roundabout. The council has also said it functions well for local buses. The Model Vehicle Club of New Zealand's Otago branch was formed more than half a century ago, and one of its founding members says the hobby is still growing strong. During his 52 years with the club, he's seen members come and go, but believes collecting model vehicles could help get some youngsters off their mobile devices. Eric Brocky is one of 6 founding members of the Model Vehicle Club of New Zealand's Dunedin branch.
In 1969 we formed, we discussed it in 1967 and made the decision to form the club in 1969.
There are currently more than 1,500 model vehicles on display at Dunedin's Community Gallery on Princes Street, and Brocky admits membership has dwindled at times over the years, but believes creating, sharing and displaying model vehicles can inspire younger people to put their technology down.
A lot of the public are amazed when they walk in and actually look at the display and realise what's here. It doesn't mean that they're going to go away and start collecting models, But it has happened that people have come in and seen the exhibition and then started to collect after they've seen stuff.
As people meander and browse the many styles, shapes and sizes of scaled-down vintage and classic vehicles on display, Brocky says the way model vehicles are put together these days has changed significantly over the club's 52 years, and many have intricate working parts.
I mean, we were looking at one of the members' models here yesterday, in the weekend, setting up, and the mechanism to open the door of the model, the door has to be pulled outwards and then lifted up sideways to open it to get into the model. But that's the way the actual car works the doors as well.
Eric Brocky says they used to hold exhibitions more than once a year, but says with so many models on display, it became more practical to hold a yearly event. The annual Model Expo is on at the Community Gallery until August 14th. In Dunedin, the South Today. The application by a Dunedin restaurant for temporary authority to sell alcohol has been rejected. At a hearing last month, Great Taste sought permission to sell liquor at its St Andrew Street restaurant, but the company director had admitted previously selling alcohol without a licence. A temporary authority is needed when a licensed premises changes hands, allowing the new owners up to 3 months to prepare their application for an on-licence. Great Taste operated for several months without such authority. The Dunedin District Licensing Committee decided it was left with some concerns about the applicant's suitability. After several years of hard work and fundraising, Cromwell has acquired a new St John ambulance station. More than 100 people attended the official opening of the building, which is designed to serve the community for the next 50 years.
Community spirit and generosity have contributed to the central Otago town of Cromwell, with close on $3.5 million raised through fundraising and hard work to give the area a new St John ambulance station. At last week's opening, Territory Manager David Bailey said the building will be able to withstand significant seismic events.
This build being IL4, which means it can handle a significant earthquake, and we can still use the building and function out of it as an ambulance service and a point where we can work from in a massive emergency like an earthquake.
The facility provides for the area's 2 ambulances as well as 24 full-time, casual and volunteer staff.
So in the Central Otago Territory we currently have 147 ambulance staff spread throughout the entire area, and locally here in Cromwell we have 4 full-time staff supported by 8 casual staff and 12 volunteer staff.
Cromwell was one of the fastest growing areas in New Zealand, and the new building is designed to be able to serve the community for the next half century.
For Cromwell we needed to build a building that future-proofed us for 50 years. That's what we've done. We can handle housing more staff here, more vehicles, as we need to onboard this to support us in the future.
In Cromwell, the South Today.
And still to come on the South Today, crowds have flocked to Gore to sample food from many cultures, and the Christchurch Star spoke with a trampoline athlete before she headed to Tokyo to compete in the Olympics. I'll see you after the break.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Be sure to tune in to Football Chat every week, where we chat about local football fixtures, results and everything else that's happening in the local game.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
No mai anō, welcome back. A section of a major arterial route along Lake Wanaka's front is closed this week. A Queenstown Lakes District Council spokesman says a section of Ardmore Street between McDougall and Dungarvan Streets will be closed until Friday. This is to allow the connection of services between Pembroke Park and the new toilet facility on the lakefront. The QLDC says detours will be in place via McDougall, Brownstone and Dungarvan Streets. The Gore Town and Country Club was filled with hundreds of people for the Hokanui Culture Feast last week. Crowds at the Gore Town and Country Club were entertained by local performers from different cultural backgrounds for the Hokanui Culture Feast. Organisers say more than 700 people came through the doors, sampling the food stalls, selling food from Filipino, Tongan, Colombian and Scottish cuisine. There were about 12 performances on the night, which included the Riversdale Tongan Group and Kapahaka from St Peter's College and Gore High School. Christchurch trampolinist Maddie Davidson made history recently when she was selected as the first female trampolinist to represent New Zealand at the Olympic Games. The Christchurch star spoke with the 22-year-old before her trip to Japan, where unfortunately she just missed out on qualifying for the finals.
I've always wanted to go to the Olympics, even when I was like 7. I was like, oh, it'd be so cool. And it wasn't really realistic until I was like 18. And I think knowing that I was so close kept me motivated. Even though we didn't have comps and like COVID was a thing, I knew I had to keep pushing if I wanted to get there. It was pretty special. I think it's pretty difficult to be the first person to do anything these days. So to be the first female was pretty exciting. Trampolining is very much a male-dominated sport. I think just the nature of it is a risky sport, I suppose. It can be quite scary and there's not a huge amount of girls. Like, we get to wear the pretty leotards, but that's about as pretty as the sport gets, if that makes sense. And I know with girls, I'm a huge advocate for girls doing sport. Like, they should do it their entire lives if they can, because for some reason girls tend to drop out of sport about 15, 16, like midway through high school. Boys continue their sport recreationally and competitively for so much longer than girls do. So it's just, it's interesting like that. And then with trampolining being that added difficulty, I think, plays a role. But I'm hoping with this, like, my qualification will help girls see that they can stay in, they can have a semi-normal life and like really push through and get to those higher levels.
And after the break on the South Today, there are more issues for expanding landfill in Winton, and we have a look at the outlook for Thursday and beyond. See you after the break.
MTF Finance can help you turn the key on your next vehicle with a loan made just for you. TCs and lending criteria apply.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. We have a massive manufacturer's clearance plus. There's liquidated stock from our suppliers. For example, we have cotton casual trousers from 1990, dress trousers from 1990, merino zip pullovers, fashion shirts, warm winter shirts, jackets. There's a great deal on overcoats, blazers and suits. Come and check out our jeans. We're known for our jean selection.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Come in and see the massive manufacturer's clearance at Alex Campbell Menswear.
Thanks for staying with us. The Winton landfill, which recently had its waste limits cap removed, is still waiting for consents from the local district council. AB Lime applied to the Southland District Council for a resource consent a year ago. The council says the assessment of the application identified key issues relating to noise and truck movements. The council says it's unlikely there will be consent, will need to be notified. The application has been on hold for some time while waiting for written approvals. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. A new Southern cheerleading club is based in the USA is aiming to take on all comers. Organisers of the 52nd Otago Model Vintage Club exhibition say the hobby can attract new members. And years of fundraising has paid off for St John in Cromwell, as about 100 people helped them open their new facility. Time now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's Otago Day Times. We welcome the editor, Mr Barry Stewart. Kia ora, Barry.
Hello, Daryl. How
you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. We had a story a little while ago about inmates from Christchurch proposing to move them down to the Otago Corrections Facility in Milton. Well, they don't want to come. Unbelievable. So, and in fact, they've actually barricaded themselves in their cells twice. So, more on that story in the ODT tomorrow.
So they don't want underfloor heating then?
I'm not sure what the well, I think they're concerned about leaving family and that support network around them. So genuine concerns, but it's caused quite a concern all round. So we have that story. We also have Dunedin Hospital Emergency Department doctors arriving at work in the morning, and they are routinely met with patients who have waited all night and haven't been seen. So there's concerns there, and the emergency department doctors say they are wholeheartedly backing the nurses' concerns over those matters. So we have details of that. We also celebrate 10 years of the Dunedin Stadium. Who would have thought 10 years it's been up and running? And so we mark that event with 10 magic moments of the stadium, and we cast our mind back to some of the big highlights from there, and of course concerts and various test matches and community events and the like. So there's some interesting little snippets there, so look out for that.
There have been quite a few big events. I'm thinking of Elton John, Pink for a couple.
Well, Elton John was the first concert, and he's been back again, of course. So, and then of course, who can forget the Ed Sheeran Easter concerts, 3 in a row, 40,000 people plus at each of them. So yeah, pretty special.
I'm looking forward to seeing that and more in tomorrow's ODT.
Thank you.
Cheers, Barry. Time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, a clear sign of spring, daffodils at Dunedin's railway station. Looking at the situation, mostly fine for a few days, but a southwesterly airflow develops over the weekend and it'll become very cold, with widespread snow possible over the weekend. Blue Skies forecasters say heavy snow is possible to sea level over the weekend. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, showers and 13 degrees for Greymouth and Westport. Heading across to the northeast, similarly showery over here too, with 13 degrees in Nelson and 12 in Blenheim. Heading to Canterbury, where the grey skies and showers continue across this region, with 12 degrees in Kaikoura, 11 in Christchurch and 10 degrees for Ashburton. And to the southern towns, moderate northwesterlies and high cloud with about 10 degrees for the Catlins, Balclutha, Lumsden and Gore. Heading across to the Central Lakes area, moderate northwesterlies with a few showers across this region. Wanaka and Queenstown head for 8 degrees, while Alexandra and Te Anau should get to 9. And heading up to the northern towns, on the coast you're due to have light easterlies and cloudy skies with 10 degrees for Oamaru and Timaru, but it's wetter inland as your northwesterlies are likely to contain showers. Twizel and Omarama both heading for 9 degrees. And in Dunedin, cloudy tonight with breezy northeasterlies with an overnight low of 6 degrees. Heavy cloud and dry tomorrow with breezy northeasterlies easing, a high of 9 and a low of 4. The forecasters say it'll be similar, but showers develop later on Friday for Otipoti with a high of 11 and a low of 7. And in Invercargill, high cloud increases tonight with an overnight low of 7 degrees. Thick cloud develops tomorrow with moderate northeasterlies, a high of 12 and a low of 5. You should plan for sunny periods with high cloud on Friday. However, southwesterlies are slowly freshening with widespread wintry showers developing at night. You're in for a high of 11 and a low of 7. And that's all from the South Today team for this Wednesday. For the latest news from across the southern region, please head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.